Did you hear about that new movie coming out? The one about a dragon who makes a mess in a grocery store? It's called Cleanup on Rept Aisle 4. Happy Thursday, my friends. Welcome to the stream. I hope you are well tonight. Pleasure to have you here, and welcome to Mystic Quest. We've got Conga Line Monkey first in chat tonight, Conga. I love that emote, that face. I think that face is the perfect reaction to my joke. We've got Lucent Jelly here. Thank you, Jelly. Thank you for the coffee, and thank you for being here. And Hooked on Pot, good to see you again. Welcome in, my friend. I hope you're having a great day today. It's been a little while, so I hope you've been doing well. Only one game on the schedule officially tonight, my friends. Mystic Quest. We're going to play this for an unknown amount of hours, and maybe also play Super Ghouls and Ghosts. That's what's unofficially on the schedule. If I come to a good stopping point in this game, and it looks like we've got a reasonable chunk of time left, then we'll try to make a run through Super Ghouls and Ghosts too. But we're going to be a little bit flexible about that. I need to try and end the stream at a reasonable hour. Unfortunately, I have things to do early in the morning, so I've got to try to be a little bit responsible and careful with my time tonight. I always fear when you announce that. Jelly says, "Yeah. Those whenever I say that, those tend to be my longest streams." So we've been at Mystic Quest for a while, and we are up to the 4th town. I think we're approaching... So, we've gone through the Earth, Water, and Fire temples. And now we are heading toward the Wind one. All the temples in this game, they seem to be divided into 2 areas. So we've got that mountain up there, but then we're also going to have, I think, this tower that's up north here. So basically, it's like there's 2 dungeons for every village. Like a smaller dungeon and a larger dungeon. And this will be like dungeon pair number 4. There are few forces more powerful than a jinx, right? Alright, quick stop into this temple for whatever supply it has to offer us. Healing potions, which I am maxed out on. That's it? Usually there's more than that going on in one of these places. Alright, oh well. No more delays, up to the mountain. Just taking a moment to take in the music, since we haven't heard this before. I don't think. It's alright. Maybe not one of the standout tracks, but I like the melody. It's quite majestic, Jelly says. It's good, it's good. It's just, it's also, like... It's got some strong competition. Alright, I kind of like what the flute's doing. When the flute came in, that was kind of fun. Whoop whoop for the flute, Jelly says. Missed. I don't understand all these vampires just standing around in broad daylight. They should be, you know, bursting into flames or, you know, at least sparkling or something. There should be some reaction. Hey, Defiant Salem, welcome in. Happy Thursday to you. I hope you are well. We are just getting started with Mystic Quest for the night. It's kind of a big open area we found ourselves in, so I've got to I'm kind of looping around. I'm kind of looping around just to make sure I don't miss any like stray enemies or chests. And it looks like I'm doing a whole lot of nothing, but it's just because the area is so big. I want to make sure I don't miss anything. Hey, Hooked on Pod, thank you for the 100 bits for boss luck. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, there will undoubtedly be a boss up here on this mountain. Fortunately, this is a game where sorry, I hope I'm not gonna have to keep clearing my throat every few minutes all night long. Fortunately, this is a game where even if you have bad luck, it doesn't hurt you all that much. This is a very forgiving game. This Mystic Quest, like, one of the very few things I knew about it going into it is that it was made to be a very easy, like, entry-level beginners JRPG, and it's pretty much lived up to that. I mean, there are fights that have taken me a couple tries here and there, but mostly you can just kind of move through the game kind of on autopilot. It's less about the it's less about the challenge of overcoming the game as it is just kind of enjoying the sights and sounds of this one. Which, I mean, it's got some nice artwork in it, and it's got some great music. So that they're, you know, when I say enjoying the sights and sounds, there are many to be enjoyed. I always forget I can jump. Some of the puzzles are a little tricky. There are a couple places that had me scratching my head for a moment with some of the puzzles. Forgot we could, mostly because of things like that where I forget something we're able to do. Like, I forgot we could jump across single gaps. I'm liking the Frownie RPG vibe, Hooked on Pot says. Thank you, Hooked on Pot. I feel like when I play this game, I feel like the stream is very quiet. There's like, you know, there's not. I'm not thinking about a whole lot while I play it. I'm just kind of like mashing the button on autopilot through most of the battles. So. I feel like I very quickly run out of things to say. But thank you. I'm still waiting for Final Fantasy IV. I hope I haven't missed it yet. No, so I played this like somewhat strategically, right? It's an RPG for beginners, so I figured I should play it before I play a whole lot of RPGs on the stream. Dynamite, welcome in. Good evening, good evening. Hope you're doing well today, my friend. It's always a bit unsettling when you have to battle Isaac in a game, Jelly says. Isaac does tend to show up in a lot of games. As a professional video game actor, he gets a lot of work. Final Fantasy IV was my entry-level RPG when I was a kid, Hooked on Pot says. I've got a lot of the Final Fantasy games in my collection. I've got the early ones. I think pretty much every one you can have on the PlayStation 1 I've got, and I've never played, so they are all candidates for the stream. So far, RPGs that we've done on the stream, we've done Paper Mario, we did Final Fantasy Adventure, which is more of an action RPG, and we did Pokemon Arceus. I think that's it. started Dragon Warrior Monsters, but that playthrough got kind of abandoned. I was having an okay time with the game, but I got kind of distracted away from it for a while, and it would be too hard to go back. I let it sit for too long. Dynamite says I've beaten a smooth total of 1 RPG in my life. I'm curious. I'm curious to know which one that may be. Final Fantasy IV is not too complicated, Hooked on Pot says. That's probably best for me. I mean, I do think that, like, you know, I could handle, you know, a more challenging RPG. But, just in case, I think there's wisdom with starting small. That's the thing with most RPGs. If you take a break for too long, you can get lost. Yeah. And that happened to me because I actually started, once upon a time, I actually started Final Fantasy VI. I played, I don't know, I played a couple hours of it. Probably. But I put it down for like 2 weeks. And it was too hard to get back into it. Sword of Vermilion on Genesis, Dynamite says, is the one RPG. Sadly, I'm not familiar with that one. It must be decent though if you saw it all the way through. At least I would hope it would be. I play enough terrible games. I couldn't in good conscience wish one upon someone else. There are a couple RPG series that I would like to eventually work through on the stream. I'd like to work through the Final Fantasy games. I'd like to work through the Wild Arms series, and then you know, I also want to do Mario RPG on the Super NES and Thousand Year Door on the GameCube. Maybe even some of the Mario and Luigi games. Particularly Superstar Saga. Those are the ones that I'm sort of most interested in, are those series, and then a couple Mario games. Maybe Chrono Trigger. Yeah, the grappling hook. So we actually saw where the grappling hook was introduced very early on in the game. A non-playable character had it, and it didn't occur to me that I was gonna get it for myself one day, but I'm glad we did. Salem says, Lord of the Rings, Third Age, Tales of Symphonia, Golden Sun. Golden Sun I'd like to play through as well. Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, Fallout, a bunch of Fallout games and Elder Scrolls. Knights of the Old Republic, Dragon Age. Name a few I've beaten. That's a fair amount. I guess Dark Souls, yeah, I guess, so Dark Souls, I guess, is an RPG, but I don't really think of it as one. Because, like, when I think of RPGs, I think of turn-based RPGs. Action RPGs, I think of almost like a completely separate genre. Hey, Thrifty, welcome in. Thank you for the wheel. Think I played this before, Hooked on Pot says. I have a vague recollection. I'm having fun with it. I'm having a good time with it. I kind of don't understand the genre properly, though. Isn't it impossible to lose a fight if you just do everything correctly? Or is that the point? It's like trial and error. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. You can, like, in this game, in this one in particular, I don't know if you can generalize that. In this game, it is definitely impossible to lose. It is definitely possible to lose fights, and you lose them due to bad luck a lot of times. I think that, the thing is with RPGs, one of the things about them is, like, they're deeper than I tend to think about them. Because, like, I tend not to think about, like, different character, like, stats and status effects and, like, things like that would really add, like, depth to my strategy and gameplay. I tend to play them very surface level, very just focused on the primary attack moves and very little else in the battle, so I don't know if I'm the best person to talk about what they're actually like. Alright, so the Wheel of Scorchin, you can use the command wheel if you want to see what items are present on it currently. We'll give it a spin, and I'll sample what it chooses. It chose the sunflower seeds. I'm unprepared for that. No. Oh, I should have set these up before. Alright, we'll do the sunflower seeds. I see the face cam inversion, too, and we'll do that. As well. Alright, I've got to quickly open and divide a pack of sunflower seeds here, because we're stepping up to a new heat level. These are solar flare sunflower seeds. It's a box, it's meant to be eaten all at once, but for the sake of the wheel, I've chosen to spread it out. And basically they're just spicy sunflower seeds at 5 levels of heat. And we finished off heat level 1, which was mild, and it's time to move on to heat level 2, which is medium. And the mild was, I mean, it wasn't agony or anything, but it was spicier than you would think a mild would be. When I think of mild, I think of virtually no spice, and this definitely had spice. I already forgot Isaac was rocking some rad shades, Jelly says. He's ready for summer. Isn't that true of any game? If you do it right, you win. Yeah, I think the essence of what Dynamite was getting at though was like basically like you'd have to go out of your way to lose. I think was the thought. You know, not to put words in someone else's brain. Oh, I almost divided them well. I divided them well into thirds, but not into fourths. Sorry, just take a little from each of these and we'll be fine. Great. Thank you for your patience, my friends. Alright, so we've got like a teaspoon of sunflower seeds in the bottom of this jar. And I'm just gonna see what they do to me. Oh, here it comes. Oh my goodness. Oh, I thought it was... At first I was thinking, oh, it's smoky, but it's not... It's not that different from the mild. It's very different from the mild. Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow. These are no joke. This may be the hottest thing I've had on the wheel. It's level 2. It's level 2 of the seeds. There are 3 more levels to go. Oh my goodness. Oh. Wow. I had to let some steam out of the top of my head. It's like, wow, it's a really harsh chemical kind of heat. That is outrageous. It's dying off now. It's still, like, smoldering in the back of my throat. And, my tongue is a little, like, tingly, but I'm it's mellowing down. It's just above pleasant at the moment. It says this is made with red Savina peppers with adobo and cilantro. I have no idea that's what this heat level. I didn't know they were all individually labeled like that. So the mild was habanero and Scotch bonnet peppers with mild red chilies and lime was the flavoring. Level 3? Level 3 already begins to introduce ghost pepper. Wow. Yeah, for dinner I had like the least the least spicy dinner I could possibly have. I had oatmeal for dinner. Alright, let's get my big head out of the way. There's a face cam inversion request we need to do. Thank you for the 100 more bits, Hooked on Pot. Thank you, thank you. I like Magikarp hanging out over your shoulder, by the way, Jelly says, although depending on your position, it kind of looks like he's a leech attached to your head. Oh, no. Alright, Dynamite says, I mean, because it's a static sequence. You make choices in a still scene, whereas in Mario / Contra or something, it's actually dynamic and you can duck and fall. No two plays are identical, but if you know everything about an RPG, I would think it's almost like being on autopilot as far as beating it. You might be right there to a degree, Dynamite. I think one thing that kind of, even is that it's not 100% predetermined, though, right? For a lot of RPGs, your battle encounters are randomized. They'll happen at random intervals and against random, base level opponents out in the field. So it's not mechanically predictable to that degree. There is an element of surprise that you then have to strategize around because different enemies may use up different amounts of your resources. And even in a game like this one, where the enemies are not randomized, they're placed intentionally in places on the map. Their movesets are what moves they pull out of their pool of moves is randomized, so they won't necessarily attack you the same way every time. So it is a lot more, it is a lot more static and a lot more yeah. I guess. Well, I mean, if you know the game, is pretty predictable. To a degree, but yeah, there are elements of elements of randomness that make every play slightly different, and bad luck or poor responses to the randomization can put you into bad situations. Yeah, I had sunflower seed Salem. I had it's called Solar Flare Sunflower Seed Challenge. And they're actually meant to be eaten all at once. But that's not why I bought them. Clearly I would have a difficult time eating them all at once. I'm already struggling with a fourth, because there are 5 bags and you're supposed to eat a whole bag at a time, back to back to back. And I'm eating a fourth of a bag. And this is what it's doing to me. It's pretty wild. Oh, I'm dead. See what I mean? Poor reactions. I didn't pay attention to my health. Now I'm dead. This game, though, there's no punishment for failure. It asks you if you give up, and all you have to do is say no, and you start right back at the beginning of the battle, like nothing ever happened. I find RPGs like a good book. Once you know the story, you can skip most of the dialogue on a second playthrough, Hooked on Pot says, and then also finding the rare loot makes me want to replay. Oh. Alright, let me actually pay attention this time. How about I go ahead and heal both my characters? That would probably be a smart way to start the battle. Hey, Derek Ocean. Welcome in, Derek. Happy Thursday to you. Wow. Wow. No wonder I keep dying. These guys can do a lot of damage. Well, that time they didn't. That guy up there is undoubtedly the boss. I want to make sure he's the last thing that I approach. Hey cows, welcome in. Happy Thursday, my friend, and welcome to more Mystic Quest. I just got absolutely lit on fire by some sunflower seeds. We've moved up to the second heat level on the sunflower seeds on the wheel. I had them for the first time just a moment ago, and they're devastating. I think that guy might not be a boss, actually. Not sure what's going on. Just got done watching the Batman movie from 1989. Classic movie, right on. I recall enjoying that movie. It's been a very long time since I've actually sat down and watched it myself. Mystic Quest is going pretty well. I was struggling there for a moment. I was not paying very close attention. Kept starting a battle with low health and getting wiped out. But I've got my head somewhat back in the game, and we're doing all right. Wipe him out. So long, Dracula. Alright, and found Apollo Helm. And we find, like, new armor and stuff in this game. Again, because it's a very beginner's game. Like, all of our armor is automatically equipped for us. There's no, like, descriptions of what it does because there's no choices to be made. It is very much a game with training wheels. It's alright, though. I know nothing about this game besides being an RPG. It's a beginner's level RPG. It's very simple and straightforward, but it's got cool artwork and really cool music. And I'm having fun with it. The simplicity of it doesn't really bother me. I'm okay with that. I like that the writing is very simplistic too, because even the story is like, all the dialogue is like short and to the point, and some of it still even kind of like makes me laugh. Sometimes because it's so short and to the point, the like abruptness of it is just amusing. It's good. It's good. It's got a good vibe to it, this game. Boat Ladder, welcome in. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Very much appreciate having you here with us. And Chompy, same to you. Welcome in. What is this game? It's not a rebranded Mana game? I don't think so, Chompy. This is Final Fantasy Mystic Quest is like made to be a spin-off of the series to get, from what I understand, it's made to be a spin-off of the series that's really, really easy and straightforward to teach Westerners how to play RPGs. I think Square was under the impression at some point that RPGs didn't sell as well in the West as they did in Japan because Westerners didn't know how to play them. So they made a really easy one to teach us how to play them. I also believe that strategy kind of backfired because I don't think that this game was received all that well. Though people who played it seem to remember it pretty fondly, so I don't know. If you come to me for your information, you get information that is of a reliability level that you maybe deserve. Every fact you ever hear me state should have an asterisk by it. I was gonna say RPGs usually have a lot of talking. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I'm afraid of the genre. I'm more afraid of RPGs. Like, I'm not really afraid of their complexity. Like, that's what it seems like I'm afraid of, is because to be clear, I don't think I have a great mind for RPG battle strategy and stuff like that. But I know that pretty much any obstacle in RPG can be overcome with enough level grinding. So, I'm not really afraid of the challenge. I'm afraid of being buried under I'm afraid of being buried under hours of dialogue. Christian Cool, welcome in. Thank you for the lurk. I wish you luck with whatever projects you are currently working on. Apparently this was even called Final Fantasy USA: Mystic Quest in Japan. I'd believe it. So you're the one who's draining the Crystal of Wind's power. Nah, it's Pazuzu. But you'll never meet him. Ooh, the Headless Horseman? Right on. We will rain down meteorites upon these guys. Oh no! Oh no, I went into a boss battle and didn't heal beforehand. I'm not cut out for RPGs, am I? What a rookie mistake. That's like getting up, getting dressed, putting your shoes on, going outside, and realizing that you forgot to put your pants on. Oh, and one of my characters is down. Hey, thank you for the 100 bits hooked on pot. Thank you very much. Boss time. Hopefully I won't let us down. I got off to the worst start possible though. So. Hypno sleep. Doom dance. Rip. Alright. Well, I've never said yes to give up. I don't know what it's going to do to us. I don't... Well, see, if I say no, it's going to restart the battle right at the top. And I'll have to waste my first move healing. If I say yes... I don't know if it lets me run away from the battle, or if it takes me back to, like, my last save or something. I'm gonna say yes. It takes me back to my last save. I have to do everything we've done tonight all over again. I just erased the last hour of progress. That's the worst. I thought if I said yes, it was gonna let me run away. I thought it was gonna let me run away, not make me redo everything. Oh. Oh, rip. That is the worst. That is the worst thing. Oh, I am peak silliness. Well, we learned a valuable lesson. Mansta, welcome in. Hey, don't worry, Mansta. You just, you just got here, but don't worry, you didn't miss anything. Frownie, you can't give up on the game that was specifically designed to be easy enough for Americans. I just wanted to give up on the battle. I didn't want to give up on the game. But, you know, that's what happens. That's what happens when you have a, when you have a vague dialogue prompt like that. There's a lot of ways to interpret it, and, well, I interpreted it wrongly. I think I just respawned the one enemy that we defeated by, accidentally leaving like that. What did I miss, Frownie? Oh, I'll go back and show you. I am nothing if not the most accommodating streamer. No random battles in this one, Chompy. There is a part of the game that gives you a taste of what random battles feel like by making the overworld enemies invisible for a while. But no, it's like Paper Mario. All the enemies are visible on the overworld. You don't exactly know what configuration of enemies is going to be hiding inside of the overworld sprite. You know, like this guy up here is a skeleton, so I know it'll contain at least a skeleton. But it could be, you know, it could have one or two partners, and they could be any random thing. It could be a single skeleton, it could be a skeleton and a vampire. It could be two skeletons and a vampire. You just never know. That's kind of cool. I mean, they're set, so if you know the game, you would know what it is. But, you know, before you go up to him, you don't know what he is. I jumped off an end ship and died tonight. 5. I think this is Minecraft. An end ship. Though I'm not sure exactly what that is. But 500k away from my end spawn with 3 elytras and a few shulker boxes full of other loot. I feel your pain for the hour loss. I don't understand half the words in that sentence, Hooked on Pot, but I certainly appreciate the commiseration. I did make it back to my death spot and only lost 1 shulker box and a few other things. But I got the 3 elytras. I'm not sure what that is. While I would not wish struggle upon you on this side of the events, I am happy that you can relate to me. It took me over an hour to run back. So we're almost in exactly the same boat there time-wise. Because yeah, I lost pretty much exactly an hour of progress. Elytras are the flying cape things in Minecraft. Are they those enemies that show up at night when you don't sleep? Oh no, they'd be an item. I don't know what a flying cape is. In Minecraft. I've never flown like that. You equip them like a chest armor and then use firecrackers to get air and fly. So much in that game is always changing. I don't think I even knew there were... I didn't even know there were firecrackers in the game. I'm very out of touch. I think I've been upside down for our requisite amount of time, so we'll restore the proper order to the universe here. It's one of the hardest items to get, and I died with 3 on me. I almost quit forever. I see. So you had it way worse. You had it way worse than I do. That sounds devastating. Still didn't get that vampire down there by that treasure chest. I need to get him. Remember how to get over to where he lives. Across the bridge. Just don't walk out of the stage again. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, lucky after an hour walk, I got them back. A potion so I can open the chest. Alright, now we're ready to go back up toward the top. No joke, I walked for an hour in a video game doing nothing but trying to get back to where I died. I respect that. That is, you know, that's admirable persistence. And then an hour back to be able to keep the loot. Baffling persistence, Jelly says. Hey, simple name. Good to see you again. Thank you for being with us tonight. I hope things have been going well for you. It was worth it, Hooked on Pot says. No doubt. I'm glad you made it. I'm glad that you know, I'm glad that you stuck with the trip that you went to get to, you know, you went to reclaim what was rightfully yours, and that it was actually there to get. Simple Name says, great here. Kayaking trip tomorrow. Right on. I hope that's a lot of fun for you. I did some kayaking in Summer Games on the Commodore 64 a couple months ago. That's the closest I have to any kayaking experience. I don't think it really qualifies. Was it river kayaking in the game? It was. You move down a river and you have to stay... You have to go between a set of... you have to go between all these pairs of buoys. And sometimes you have to go through them in reverse. I wasn't super good at it, but I also didn't have any competition, so I walked away with the gold. Slalom gates, yeah. That's the thing about winter games, or summer games. Oh, well, winter games too, I think. I think all the games on the C64. If you play solo, you always get the gold. How do I get over to this guy? Just up here? Okay, perfect. This is a 100% run. I don't skip any enemies. Almost boss time, hooked on bot. Thank you for the bits. Thank you for the 100 bits. There's a slalom race coming up in Upper Rio Grande in a couple weeks. A race that you're gonna be competing in. Now it's boss time, and hey, look, I'm gonna heal and I'm gonna save before we fight the boss. Imagine that. Imagine healing and saving. I'm saving in all the slots, there's no turning back. Might compete in the downriver race. Not enough skill for slalom. Well, if you compete in the downriver race, I wish you the best of luck. Hope you come away victorious, and even if not, I hope you at least have a lot of fun with it. I don't know if that tornado move was good or not. Oh, it was good. It was great. I never used that, so... Oh! Well, awesome. One of my characters immediately died. I can't revive her. I don't have a... Unless this revives a character. Which I don't know if it does. I've never used a refresher. Nope, that's not what that does. Cool. This is bad. This is very bad. Get rid of this vampire, because I'm just getting double hit for no reason. Seed revive a character? I don't think it does either. Nope. Alright, well, I can't revive my partner. I'm all alone. And I'm dead. This time we will not give up and erase all of our progress. I mean, I don't really know what to do other than what I just did, which didn't work, but I'm gonna do it again anyway. I kinda just have to hope this guy chooses not to one-hit KO me. Oh, we got his horse. I'm sure he's not happy about that. We made them match. He's a headless knight, he needs a headless horse. Oh no, now his horse is gone. We vaporized it. Oh, he looks much more intimidating now. Let's just go all out with the attack this time. He can't have that much health left, right? Oh no, I'm out of magic. Regular attack it is. I'm all alone. Victory! Wow, right down to the wire. Hey, we did it. Nothing happened though. I'm sure that was good. I'm sure that was what we needed to do. Just before we run into any disasters here, let me just go ahead and heal my partner. And we'll save. Hey Hrafnir, welcome in. How goes the jank? No jank tonight. We're playing Mystic Quest. This game's very non-jank. This is a good one. I've tormented myself with enough jank for a little while. Tonight's just a good game or two. Probably just one, but maybe two. Thank you, Hooked on Pot. Thank you for the 300 bits. Very much appreciated. Thank you for that. Thank you for the trophies. Thank you for the trophy cows. I did. I took your advice, Hooked on. I didn't see that before, but I did. I had a lucky round. That's all I needed. One lucky round. That's one thing about this game. Like, it's you know, it's very simple and straightforward. It is very easy to die just because of bad luck, and that can be somewhat irritating. You can see forever. If I remember right, there was a chocobo in Final Fantasy Adventure. The wind has suddenly stopped. I'll try to make the Rainbow Road. It worked! Otto, we're going to save Norma and the crystal. Wait! In the tower, you'll see switches on even-numbered floors. Flick the switches with your axe. Then the elevator won't go past that floor. Please bring my daughter back. Heal potions. This guy's got quite the library. Where's Norma? Have you seen her? Don't think anyone's dialogue is updated, other than Otto, who we already talked to. It's great when the wind calms like this. And the music in this town makes me think of SimCity on the Super NES. Otto built the tower up north, but Pazuzu invaded it. Hey, it's the Rainbow Road. What did that say? Pazuzu's tower. I mean, the map is even calling this Pazuzu's tower. They just said it's Otto's tower, right? Are we gonna? Are we really respecting and recognizing Pazuzu's authority? He's the villain. Are you Norma? I was so afraid no one would find me, but now I can go home. Your dad's waiting for you. So long, Norma. Oh, I didn't sleep at the inn. I didn't rest. I need to do that. I was about to, for the second time tonight, I was about to go into battle completely unprepared. Guess we should stop into Otto's house because he and Norma probably have dated dialogue. The wind won't stop until you save the Crystal of Wind. The wind did stop. What do you mean it won't stop? Thank you. It was all kinds of windy in this town before, and there's not a single molecule of wind out here now. Battle time. Let's there's the little like green guy with the eyeball there on the right. Looks like an enemy from Castlevania. Critical hit. Nice. So far, seeing not a whole lot of reason to be terrified of these birds. Miss. That's pretty rough. Of all the elements, I seem to be most vulnerable to wind. I mean, I've been... Ooh, was that a level up? I think that was a level up. I've been hurt kind of badly by fire, but I think it's because the enemy was strong, not because the attack was strong. Missed. Let's heal up. I was watching Kaylee's health get lower and lower, and thinking, might not go well for me. Hello, is that Pantoma? Welcome in. Pleasure to have you with us. Playing the old Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. We certainly are. We certainly are. I'm pretty far along in it, and I've been enjoying this game. I was promised a simple, straightforward beginner's RPG, and that's what I got, and it's, kind of what I need. So, I'm having a good time with it. I like the artwork. I like the writing, even as the writing is like brief and blunt, but it has a charm to it, and the music's amazing. So there's little to dislike about this game. I mean, like if you go in, expecting a deep challenge, you're gonna be real disappointed. But if you go into it just looking for just sort of a laid-back time, I think it's a very fun experience. I remember this game owning from you owned this game when you were a kid, right on. This is my it's my first time through it. It's one of those that's just, I had it sitting on my shelf for years and years and years, and I've been talking about for a little while trying to do a few more RPGs on the stream, and this one had come up a couple times, and I thought, well, why not? Why not? I've played very few RPGs. Why not play the beginner's RPG as a beginner to RPGs? And I don't regret it. Thank you for the follow, Pantoma. Very kind of you. Appreciate having you on board with us. I remember... Oh, okay. So I misinterpreted. I'm sorry. I remember this game taking up a lot of my childhood. Fair enough, fair enough. Not a bad way to spend your time, I would say. Game and Fit, welcome in. Great to have you here tonight, my friend. I hope you're well. Beholder. I didn't catch that guy's name. That's an appropriate name for an eyeball enemy. I like it. And now he's gone. Getting sick of these doctors. I want to run another test. I'm gonna pass away from old age before I get fixed. I'm sorry to hear that, Game and Fit. Hang in there. We're all pulling for you, my friend. Oh, we've got some raiders coming in. Nice. One big eye to behold visually, and lots of tentacles to behold literally, Cows says. Oh, wow. Wow, Cows. Very well observed. I love it. And welcome into Sir Rack of Lamb. My good friend, thank you for the raid. think I saw you were playing Spider on the PlayStation 1. I saw you announced that you were going to be streaming, but I saw it too late. I would have loved to have tuned in. Oh, these are the switches that stop the elevator. Oh. Oh, no, they're not. Huh. Well, I'll figure it out. Hey, there's everybody. Welcome in. Oh, we have another raid. We have a double raid. Welcome into Sir Rack of Lamb and friends, but also welcome into Soda Wave and friends. Welcome to Mystic Quest, everybody. Pleasure to have you here. Who else do we have? Otaku Ben Gamer, welcome in. Good to see you again. I almost read your name as Otaku Burger. Maybe I'm hungry. Volporium, good to see you again. Welcome in, welcome in. Paradox Maelstrom, good to have you here with us. Grab a snack. Hey, thank you, Hooked on Pot's got it taken care of. Thank you for the pistachios, Hooked on Pot. I will grab a snack. I've got ramen noodles. Just waiting for them to cool down, Volporium says. Right on. I like these ramen noodles. They come in a red and orange package, and they're pretty spicy. I don't know what flavor they're supposed to be. Just spicy. That's all I taste. Tell us about your streams, my friends. Sir Rack of Lamb, how did Spider treat you? And Soda Wave, what were you doing and how did it go? Please, give us the details. Otaku says, I'm gonna sleep now. Good night, good night. It was good to see you, if only for a brief while. I hope you sleep well and have a wonderful tomorrow. Played Wind Waker HD. Oh, nice. Are you just starting it up, or are you pretty far along? It was fun talking about F-Zero and what a new game could be like. You know, I have never played an F-Zero game. I've got to let you down there. I have a few of them. Pretty far, just met up with Makar. Okay, so that... yeah, that puts you, like, in the second half of the game, I think. I haven't played it in so long. Nope, you know, I think I'm wrong. I don't know anything. I don't know anything about the Wind Waker. I think I know where you are, but I also think I'm wrong. We're pretty far along in this game. We're in dungeon like number 4, if you count. If you count like the dungeons as in, it's difficult. There are 4 elements, right? And we've cleared 3 of the elements. But it like every element has a town associated with it, and every town has 2 dungeons associated with it. So when I say we're in dungeon number 4, we're in dungeon number 8, but it's really like dungeon number 4B. We're in the wind dungeon. We just got here, and I'm just walking around. I don't really know what's up with this big guy yet. I'm kind of nervous to approach him, so I'm just kind of walking around, getting the lay of the land and clearing out all the minor enemies. Last item we got was the mirror shield. So you must be okay. So you must be pretty far along then, because that's definitely not something they're going to give you early game. I need to play that one again myself. I played it when it first came out on GameCube. I did a pretty low any percent playthrough of it. I should play it again, especially now that I tend to play games a lot more thoroughly than I used to. I should play it again and really enjoy it. When all 3 of them open their eye real big at the same time, it is a little bit intimidating. Oh no, my partner went down. We skipped Spider, Sarakablam says. Controls are trash. But we'll try it again at some point. We played The Lion King, Simba's Mighty Adventure on PlayStation 1. It's movies 1 and 2 combined into one game. We beat it too. Hats off to you, Sarakablam. GG. How does it stack up against Lion King on the Super NES? Manticore. I think this is a new enemy. I don't recall seeing this one before. Oop. And away it goes. Oh, maybe we have. It looks more familiar now that it's damaged. I tend to take gaps of a few nights. Chimera. Maybe I was remembering this Chimera. This looks more familiar to me. I know we fought the Chimera before. I tend to take gaps of a few nights in between sessions of playing this game. And so I forget a lot of stuff that I've just seen. Oh, okay. So that's what those are. Those are grapple points. I thought those were the switches that the character told us about. Oh no, we're poisoned. And we missed. And it rains and pours, right? Controls are jankish. I won't spoil it, but gameplay is like 6 out of 10. There's something else that I feel gives it a boost to an 8.5 out of 10. That sounds to me like you're suggesting it is probably worth playing. Gotta catch up on some YouTube, Volporium says. Have a good night. Thank you for being here with us for a while, Volporium. It's good to see you. enjoy your YouTube and have a wonderful rest of your night. I'm not doing a very good job taking care of my party. I think you have something in your beard. Oh no. Do I? Maybe I do. Probably a piece of pistachio shell. Thanks for the heads up. Rain down terror from the sky. No! I've either forgot or didn't know they could do that. That hurts. That hurts a lot. Self-destruct. Wow. That was incredibly unfortunate. Let's restart that battle. Alright, how about I don't use magic, because it's a trap. I didn't know the enemies were going to use the old I am rubber, you are glue trick on me. I would say yes. Soraka Flam says, you could beat it in several times over and 100% in one stream. There are even mini games to torture yourself with. Alright, that does sound like my kind of game. I love torturing myself for hours with a pointless mini game. If anyone doubts that, I would refer you to our most recent Kirby stream. I wore myself to tears trying to get all bullseyes in a ninja mini game, and there's not even a reward for it. And I knew as I was doing it there would be no reward for it. But I just had to see a perfect score on the board. I couldn't rest until I did. Nice. On the one hand, I feel I should never spread my attacks out, right? I should just always focus on one enemy at a time until they're taken down. Because if I spread the attacks out, the enemies last longer, and then they get more opportunities to hit me. But if I focus, then I take out one enemy real quick, and then there's only one left that can hit me, so basically their damage is cut in half. Right? I understand this. But sometimes I want to spread my attacks out because I'm worried that one of them is going to be a critical hit. And if I'm going to have a critical hit, if I'm going to have a regular hit and then it's followed up with a critical hit, it's like, well, if I'd spread those out, then I would have an enemy that's dead and one that's partially damaged instead of just one that's dead and one that's full health. So that's, you know, sometimes I spread the attacks out knowing that it's a bad strategy, like, on the surface, but I'm hoping for a critical hit. I saw that you beat the Super NES Lion King the other day. How long did it take you in total? Sirac of Lamb asks. I can actually tell you because I beat it in one stream. And that's the only thing we played. So however long the stream was is how long it took me. That game was pretty rough. It started off real rough. Particularly, but there were parts all throughout where I kind of struggled. So it looks like about the stream is about 5.5 hours. There's probably a lot of chin wagging in there. So I would say somewhere between 4 and 5 hours of actual gameplay. Probably like 4.5 hours of actual gameplay. It's not that big of a game. The Lion King on the Super NES, it's there's not too much to it, but it is difficult. It's difficult. It's got a lot of janky parts to it. Alright, let's talk to this guy. I was waiting for you, little beasts. Oh. Now he's gone. Okay. I still don't fully understand, but that's alright. Time to get beheld again. I really dislike that self-destruct move. Come on, critical hit. Another one? They're everywhere on these stairs. Oops. Hey, It's alright. Good thing I've cornered the market on heal potions. Missed. Gross. Well, I've come to a what? I've come to a dead end. Huh. Oh. There's a door right here. I was seriously about to walk all the way back down the tower. Because I didn't see this door right here. I forgot to heal. Surely this guy will be weaker now than he was when he was a boss. Oh! His horse was headless from the beginning. I said something about making his horse headless when we damaged it. It was headless from the start. The Headless Horseman was always riding a headless horse. So the Headless Horseman, if you notice, he's actually carrying his head, like, in his arm. So, I mean, is he truly headless? Is that because he has a head. It's not attached, but it is there. Headless would imply to me that there's no head in the picture at all. So, I think there's a little false advertisement happening here. Sorcerer. Alright, well, those guys are nothing to worry about. I guess, to be fair, he's holding a helmet. I don't really know. I can't really prove whether or not there's a head inside of that helmet. So before I'm gonna go and cry that we're being scammed, it could be in fact that he is completely without a head, and that's why he carries the helmet around, is because he doesn't have a head to put it on. He doesn't want to. It's part of the armor, so he doesn't want to leave it. He doesn't want to leave it at home because then the set would be incomplete. But he's got nowhere to put it, so he's got to carry it around. It looks quite a bit more intimidating carrying your head rather than just missing it. I would agree. I would agree, Cows. If two people walked up to me and one of them was missing their head completely and the other was missing their head but they were carrying it, I would be more afraid of the guy carrying his head than the guy missing it entirely. Thanatos? Not Thanos. I don't. I assume Thanatos is named for something, but I am. I'm not familiar. I don't have the source material as a point of reference. But you know, a lot of the like character names and stuff come from the character names, like they come from mythology, or sometimes they're a pun, and sometimes they reference things. But I don't pick up on what they're referencing. The boss of this tower is named Pazuzu, and I think that's the name of the demon in The Exorcist 2. I don't know if they pulled it from that movie or if they pulled it from the same source that movie pulled it from, but that's the only context I think I've ever heard that name. No, I knew my health was low. I thought I could muscle my way through and then heal afterwards. I still think I can. As long as I don't miss too many attacks. Which is something I have no control over. Sorcerer first. Oh, we brought a beholder with them. Oh, the background is different. We must be at the top of the tower. That's cool. That the background would change when you get to the top of the tower. I kind of thought that it would just, you know, I would kind of expect it to just be, like, sort of lazy and have the same background throughout the entire tower, not have different ones for different parts. Very cool. Missed. You hate to see it. Both of my attacks missed. Get out of here. I don't want to hear anything about that. There's a treasure chest over there. You know I want that. No, I was about to say, don't kill me. And what did it do? Destroyed me. So long, Kaylee. Welcome back, Kaylee. It's difficult to tell because, like, in some areas, it's difficult to tell where the floor like goes up into the wall for a square, and where like those areas look like there's a hole in the wall. Like that square is not like the wall pushed back, but the wall above. It just seems like I should be able to walk through a lot of areas that I can't, and I accidentally used magic to cure someone who didn't need to be cured. Thank you for the hydrate title. Welcome in. We'll finish up this bottle of water. Glad we get to see the Chimera more often. It's such a cool design. It is. I like that. I like that it's got a lot of that sort of pinkish purple color to it. I mean, the Headless Horseman here rides a purple horse. Fantastic choice. Rough work night. You'll make my day if you say a swear word on stream, Frownie. Happy to oblige title. Here we go. A swear word on stream. Hopefully that turns things around for you. Just as expected. That's why I love you. Thanks, title. I'm sorry to hear. I'm sorry to hear you had a rough day. I'm given to understand that that's somewhat typical, but I still sympathize with you, my friend. I saw that one coming, Sir Rack of Lamb says. I mean, if you watch the stream, long enough, I'm bound to, eventually I'm gonna slip up and, we all misspeak sometimes, so it's only a matter of time before I say something less than perfectly appropriate. It's guaranteed to happen. At least I ended up helping another department this morning by doing one of the things I'm really good at. That's got to be nice. An opportunity to use one of your special skills. Hey Persephone, welcome in. Thank you for the wheel. I got stung pretty badly by the wheel in the last spin. The sunflower seeds. The sunflower seeds, we moved up a heat level, so they really got me. I'd prefer not to land on that one twice in a row, but you know, it's not up to me. We got, what is that? Fiery habanero sauce. Alright, I can take that one. That's a more reasonable amount of heat for the moment. I try really hard not to swear on stream, Sir Rackablam says, because of my little brother watching a lot of SpongeBob growing up. I picked up a few family and fish-friendly curse words. Hey Angelus, welcome in. May not stream tonight, my internet's down. Using my phone to chat right now. Just know that if internet comes back after this stream, I will raid you. Thank you, Angelus. I appreciate you thinking of us. And I hope that I hope the internet situation sorts itself out. I've definitely been there. My internet's not always perfectly reliable. We've been on a really good streak with it for a while now. I've been really lucky for a very long time now, but yeah, it can definitely be a pain. I just spilled a whole lot of it. That's what happens when you're overly generous with the sauce. Unfortunately, I was pouring it over a paper towel. I have to eat another one. I ate the wrong sauce. That was the mild habanero sauce. I was like, wait a minute, this isn't doing anything. It's got a little heat to it, but I was like, this isn't right. The sunflowers can't have ruined me this badly. They didn't. I'm over here eating the wrong thing. I'm cheating. Very rare 2-for-1. What a treat. I think that's the first time. I think that's the first time where I've ever just flat out eaten the wrong thing. I don't even know why this sauce is still down here. It's not even on the wheel anymore. But yeah, this is the mild sauce. Green is mild. I'm a klutz. As punishment, you should eat the seeds. Oh, you're not getting that lucky rack of lamb. Buffering is horrible on my phone. I'm sorry, Angelus. Title says, one thing I really shine at work is... I see. Well, I'm glad your patients were in good hands. I'm here just in time for the burn. Welcome in, Loyal. You are. I just ate the wrong sauce. So I've got to eat a second one. I've got to get a new box of crackers. All my cracker pieces are too small. I need to set out a new paper towel since I ruined that previous one. Been good, just been busy. Gotta come say hi. I appreciate you making the time for us, Loyal. Always good to get to see you for a bit. And you didn't ask yet, but I'll go ahead and tell you, for dinner I had oatmeal. I had oatmeal with banana and walnuts and milk. That's all I do for my oatmeal. I pour in banana and walnuts and milk, and then I eat it cold. I eat it straight away. I eat it cold and hard and crunchy. I'm a monster. Yeah. That's the right sauce. That's the fiery sauce. I don't think I held this one up either, though. Oh. I'll be breathing nice and clearly now. It's not, it's much more manageable after those seeds from earlier. But it was a shock. It was a little bit of a shock to have it right after that mild. I love oatmeal, Loyal says. Staple since I was a kid. Oatmeal's alright. It's, I'm not crazy about it. I wouldn't say I love it, but it's It's something easy to make. It's quick to make. It's cheap. It's nutritious. It's got a lot of great qualities. It's not the most like delicious or enjoyable thing in my kitchen, but it you know, it's good. It has many good qualities. Have you played a game called Chasm? It's really fun, Metroidvania. When I finish Circle of the Moon, it'll be my next Wednesday stream, Angela says. I have not played Chasm, Angelus. I don't know that I've even heard of it. What system is it for? Alright, let's, where were we? Where were we in the game? It's a Steam game, but you could also get it on the Switch. Yeah, I've not come across that one. I like a Metroid style game from time to time. I like the genre. I like the ones that do not have RPG leveling in them, though. Like Hollow Knight. I really loved Hollow Knight because it's a lot closer to, you know, Super Metroid than it is to one of the Castlevania games. That's the thing. I don't really like Metroidvanias, as they're called. I like Metroid-style games. I like those, Metroidvania implies to me it's gonna have all that RPG stats and leveling stuff that I don't like. I'd much rather have something that's closer to Super Metroid, where progression is handled through, where progression is a reward for exploration, not, combat grinding. And found by, and achieved by finding items in the world and interacting in that way. That's my preference. We seem to have a few options available to us here. I'm not at all sure where I want to go. Well, I want to go to that treasure chest. I'm sure about that. So let's head in that direction. I don't know if we've come across this Naga enemy before. I think we've seen snake enemies, but I don't know if we've seen one exactly like this. Flare. Oh, new attack. Nice. Miracle of miracles, my internet is back. Right on, Angelus. Have a good time, my friend, and perhaps we'll see you later. It's my intention to have a somewhat shorter stream tonight, so, it's possible I may wrap before you do. But, if not, hopefully we'll get to see you. Either way, have a great time. No, don't heal. What is this flare like? It attacks everybody. Okay, cool. And seems to be reasonably strong. I'm in favor of that. Oh yeah, we can jump across. I need to remember that an option. Whoa, don't do that now. I left a bunch of... I've got to go back up because I left a bunch of enemies above us. Too. This is just that it's branching paths and they both branch off into, like... They go on forever in both directions, it feels like. There's a whole lot I'm going to have to circle back around to do. It's all a quest for some items that I don't really need. Oh no, not control. I don't know what I was... well, I do. I wanted to select this magic, and I knew it was over on the right, so my, like, brain autopiloted me over to a right-hand option, but it was something completely unrelated. So... Mwaha, you can't catch me. Oops. Nap time. Not good. If I'm taking a nap, I want it to be, you know, my decision. Not my enemies. There are a lot of enemies to go through in this tower. They're wearing me down. There's not a lot of other things going on in the tower. There's not like puzzles to solve, or I mean, I guess there's one overarching puzzle with the like switches in the elevator, but there's so many like minor enemies in the way that I can't really think about it at the moment. I've got to clear all these guys out. stuck. I have to do this battle. I can't go back up. I mean, not that I'm particularly afraid of this enemy, but... This stairwell leading down is like, I don't know that this is the direction I want to head just yet. We're gonna be stuck in an endless cycle. Guy's healing himself over and over and over. There's a ton of these guys on the stairs. There's a lot of monotony here. Gargoyles. So long, gargoyle. Hey Sparrow, welcome in. Happy Thursday to you. I hope all is well with you, my friend. We're clearing out a tower in Mystic Quest, and it's wearing me down a little bit. It's kind of monotonous. Endlessly grinding through the same area, through the same enemies, and walking through the same gray corridors. Not the strongest part of the game. Excuse me a moment. Alright, Sparrow says, I'm still feeling under the weather, but I'm drinking my milk and hoping for greener pastures. I appreciate the puns, but the greener pastures is a euphemism for death, isn't it? One would certainly hope you're not hoping for that. I hope for an utterly quick recovery for you, Sparrow, Cow says. Is that right? I thought it meant somewhere better. I could be mistaken, but I feel like whenever I hear that someone has gone to greener pastures, the implication is that they are no longer among the living. It's entirely possible I could have just misunderstood all this time. I think that's grass is greener on the other side. Scout says, I think Sparrow's mixing grass is always greener with greener pastures. There we go. Welcome in, Jay. Thank you for joining us. That's also used in a different context. That's true, that's true. Well, the phrase, the grass is always greener on the other side, has the implication that what you hope for is not as good as it seems. So. Shall we agree on, I hope that I feel better sooner than later? We certainly shall. I've just found a fancy new sword. That's kind of cool. I hope it's actually strong. Pretty strong. It's definitely an improvement. It doesn't wipe these guys out in one hit like I might hope for, but it definitely does more damage. I don't know, I'm just confusing myself, Jay says. I'm not taking back Utter the Weather, though. Don't take any of it back, Sparrow. It allowed us a moment of delightful confusion and linguistic investigation. Will I need to try this game at some point? Feels like it's right up my alley, Jay says. You could have a good time with it. Just, don't expect to be very heavily, like, mentally engaged. There's a strong turn the brain off aspect to working your way through this game. There's a couple parts where there's some puzzles where you need to pay attention. But, for the most part, you can just kind of strong-arm your way through everything without a whole lot of thought. Perfect for me, Jay says. A variation I don't quite get also is dungeon crawlers. how they're different from a traditional RPG. You know, I couldn't really say Dynamite. Except, I guess, my guess, and this is a guess, so you know, take it for the nothing that it's worth, is that you would say that a dungeon crawling game has a much greater, has a much less developed overworld, is what I would expect. That the focus of the development has gone into the combat areas, and there isn't a whole lot. Then I would expect there wouldn't be a whole lot of town and overworld area to explore. Alright, let's... Never mind, can't use that. If I can't use it, I don't need to use it. Oh, I think I leveled up, too. Got a stronger weapon, I became physically stronger. Strength everywhere tonight. Frownie is patient in not only in playing games but also answering questions that may or may not be dumb. I don't think it's a dumb question to ask. I'm just you know, unfortunately, I'm not knowledgeable enough to give a quality answer. So here's the weird thing. We were told that there were switches on the odd numbered floors, but there's one on an even numbered floor right there. I think I misunderstood something about how the game works. Oh well. We'll figure it out. I just want to clear out all these enemies, and then I can focus on the puzzle. Hey Key, welcome in. Thank you for stopping by. Hope you're having a great night. What a cute Kirby beanie. Thank you. Thank you. I got this a couple months ago. It was a birthday gift, and I've been wearing it quite frequently ever since. Hope you had the best birthday. It was good. It was good. My night's going well. About to grab a snacky. Right on. Hope you find something delicious. I think you had a birthday recently too, right? If I am correct about that, then happy belated birthday to you. April 7th, right on. I hope it was wonderful. For a moment there, I thought I had accidentally healed the enemy character. Oh, my weapon is switched. That's unfortunate. I'd be playing much better if I had my stronger weapon at the ready. He lied. My birthday's April 7th, also Dynamite says. Happy belated birthday to you, Dynamite. That's pretty wild. Birthday twins. When I was in kindergarten, my teacher had the same birthday as me. I remember her announcing that to the class on the first day of school, and it was stunning information to my small mind. health numbers are not so good. We'll heal before the next battle, though. Gotta get the snack for real, BRB, right on. Birthday was super fun. I streamed that night, which was nice. Lots of people got to celebrate with me. Excellent. Has your birthday ever been on Easter? Mine has. That's right. That's right. I imagine that would happen because it's a movable thing. My parents' wedding anniversary sometimes falls on the same date as Thanksgiving. It's within the right window for that. Wow, that, it's not a chimera, what is it? Minotaur? Manticore. That was close. The Manticore has a lot more health than I thought. It keeps healing itself. Sparrow says, can you believe Twilight Princess of all games managed to make me rage with fury last night? Can we agree that the control scheme on Zelda games is the absolute worst? I don't know, Sparrow, you might need to elaborate for me. Can I just jump when I press the button? Can I open a chest without having to be directly in front of it? Can I climb a ladder without having to press an odd direction that the camera is facing? The answer to all of those, Sparrow, is no. I don't know if this is true, but apparently I've heard something to the effect that the 3D Zelda games, they have that automatic jump thing about them. There's no jump button because Nintendo was afraid of making Zelda feel too much like Mario if they included a jump button. So they... That was a design decision. That was not carried out in order to make the game the best it could be, but to differentiate the game from another one. So, maybe not the wisest motivation. On the other hand, I am worth only the very smallest fraction of the billions of dollars that Nintendo is worth, so... Far be it from me to question their wisdom. Worst was the section of the game where I had to control the horse and shoot arrows and put out a fire. What? With a horse and cart using the boomerang. I think I vaguely remember the part that you're talking about. Waha, you can't catch me. It's been a few years since I played the game. That's the most wild thing I've ever heard in terms of games. I mean, you may want to look into it. I'm not super reliable. I need something too. A Quest protein bar. Since these savages here talk about the horrifying food they eat often, what did you have? I like those Cliff bars. I think they taste pretty good. I don't know if they're a worthwhile source of calories or anything, but I think they tend to taste pretty good, and the marketing works on me. The picture of the guy on the cliff in the mountains. I'm like, ah, that is successful marketing. I will purchase this product. Quest bars are easily the best protein bars, Persephone says. Very pricey, though. I don't think I've ever had one. I'm pretty sure I have not. I don't often eat a lot of bars, though. Like, even those Cliff bars that I said I like, I haven't had one for 2 years. $9 to $10 for 4. Wow. Spent $50 on 24, but they're basically a meal for me, Persephone says. So, not that bad. Not that bad if you're, if they're basically replacing a meal. By the time you get to a story point, the story was back on Colin, who I have a very short fuse with to begin with. And he had that typical pouty face, and I just had to skip it. I don't think I would have been able to do it on the original Wii controls. The targeting system is dreadful to boot. I get my protein from meat, Sparrow says. I get my protein mostly from nuts, probably. I mean, I eat a lot of meat, don't get me wrong, but, I really only have 2 meals a day, and I only have meat at one of them. And then I have, so I have breakfast, I have dinner, and then I have a handful of nuts before bed. So, and I have a handful of nuts with breakfast every day. So, you know, I eat meat once a day, and then I have almonds or cashews twice a day. Oh, and now I'm having some pistachios. Twilight Princess was on the Wii. I forgot Key says it was. That was it came out on the Wii first. It was made for the GameCube, but then they delayed the GameCube release so they could release it on the Wii first and push that version. I'm having Sour Patch Kids, Key says. Thank you for the hydrate, Key. We'll do that too. I get most of my protein from textured vegetable protein, Persephone says. But also, is that like tofu? Some sort of meat substitute type thing, right? But also from whole grain noodles, yeah. And occasionally fish or chicken. I eat a lot of chicken. I eat a lot of chicken and eggs and bacon. Those are like my meats. I know egg. Egg is like kind of a meat. I don't know. Twilight Princess looks great in HD, plays perfect, 60 frames per second almost all the time. I don't think the same can be said for Breath of the Wild on either the Wii U or the Switch. Definitely not on the Wii U, and no, not on the Switch either. But Breath of the Wild, like, the console's got a lot more work to do with Breath of the Wild than with the world is quite a bit more expansive and alive. It's a soy food, but not tofu. It's a meat replacement. Better than most meat in terms of protein. Right on. I've tried tofu before. I haven't found a preparation for tofu that I really like. I've tried it 2 or 3 times, and it's not to my palate. Textured, what's the textured vegetable protein? Maybe worth giving a try at some point. I love steak so much, Key says, but I rarely eat it because money. I'm right there with you, Key. I am right there with you. I super enjoy tofu. Tofu scramble is yummy, similar texture to scrambled eggs. "100% Nintendo in recent years were what you might say is a whole generation behind in graphics, but the frame rate was absolutely perfect. Now they're straying back to their N64 ways." That's fine by me, Sparrow. N64. You may not like it, but N64 is what peak performance looks like, Sparrow. N64's abomination. Burn it with fire. Next game I add to the schedule is going to be a Nintendo 64 game, Sparrow. It might be an abomination, Cal says, but it's my abomination. I really am. I don't know that we're going to put one on the schedule next week, but I really am overdue for an N64 game. When's the last time we played one? I don't even remember. Was it Scooby-Doo? No, Pilot Wings. Pilot Wings was the last N64 game. We finished that back in February, so it's been a little while. Oh, we might have finished... No, we finished that in January. So yeah, it's been a couple months now with no N64. I'm gonna take a very short BRB, my friends. If you would be so kind as to stand by for just a moment, I will see you again very shortly.